And one of the cool things that this one comes with is the spider legs for his head. Like, so
does his head pop off?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the whole head pops off.
Yes.
And then you can put the spider legs on there and do the whole, like, this is just a suit, kind of thing. And I'm like, that's amazing.
So
I do love the old version of Mr. Freeze, but the new version is so sleek and so cool looking.
I love the 1960s-esque robotic Tin Man blocky gloves on there.
I love red goggles. Like, I missed that.
It's because it's so retro that like that's why I like that clunky Mr. Freeze, because it fits in with the style. I bought a Mr. Freeze and he is forever in my freezer.
Speaking of toys, I live in my freezer.
Is it the baby doll one?
No, for you it was Mr. Freeze. For me it was Iceman.
Oh, there you go. They're looking through his computer banks and what happened with his origin. Like Batman's like seeing it, and he walks in. He's like, "Tragic, don't you think? It would move me to tears if I still had any."
Yes, it would move me to tears if I still had tears to shed.
And he like zaps them, and I was like, God, like it captures that character so well with that line. Episode. Yeah, I love it, and it captures his character. Like, I would have emotions if I had any. And I'm like,
Freeze is good because of the animated series.
Yeah, like, hands down,
the worst, boringest villain ever in the comics.
He's like Captain Cole.
The animated series made him like the best. Penguin is one that like I actually weirdly love. You bought me this, by the way. But this is straight out of Batman Returns, like this design. I don't think they ever made a new version of Penguin. But
Batman Returns, is that what you said? Like Danny DeVito?
Yeah, no, this is definitely look at that hair.
Yeah.
This is definitely designed on Danny DeVito. The little penguin hands, like.
That's great, man.
When the redesign happened, they went more with the, I don't know, kind of like the 66 Batman, a more regular human being with a pointy nose kind of thing. And I'm like, I don't know. For me, with the animated series, this Penguin's perfect, but also I don't think they ever made the other one.
How the animated series helped transition him, wasn't at first, but they transitioned him from like this goofy, I've got an umbrella gun.
To like a gangster.
He's just a mob club owner, and like he owned a club, and like Batman would go there and like he'd play the game, but when Batman pressured him about his business, he's like, wow, okay, let's talk. Like it was such a cool turn for that character, and you saw how the comics and other adaptations picked up on that line.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. That was very cool transition of that character.
So Penguin being old style, same with, I would say, Riddler and Poison Ivy. For me, these designs are perfect, and I don't want anything else from a Riddler and a Poison Ivy.
She was green in the later version, right? In the later design, was all green?
She was like, first of all, her hair went almost black, but instead of like, kind of like Joker here with the shine that was green and his hair is black, hers was the same way. It was black with like a red sheen to it. For me, Poison Ivy, in terms of the animated series, this is the one. Her prominent episodes were in the older style.
I agree. Her and Harley's Breakaway Day, the Thelma and Louise episode they had, her origin story. Yeah, there was a lot of good Poison Ivy
episodes. There was a fantastic Alfred episode where like
the day spa.
Like Riddler and Poison Ivy both got redesigned in the newer version, but like they didn't really have like singular episodes to them. They were just there. This guy who will never stand up unless he's leaning against the Batmobile. Oh my gosh, how did he do that? He was redesigned, way tinier, giant head, gigantic hat. Like he looked insane.
He looked, well, to be fair, he looks like he popped out of the old books, the artwork of Alice in Wonderland. Like they had those weird, you know what I mean? Like, so
like that enormous head, like weird proportions.
Yeah.
This guy looks like a regular dude who is insane and loves
he looks like Tom Petty with gigantic teeth. Like his origin story, all I thought about was like Tom Petty freak show. Like
he was fantastic. I'm also mind blown that I just set him down a second time and didn't fall over. Two-Face, on the other hand, and this is the newer version, but like they're so identical, like he barely changed,
So I was just gonna ask, like, other than being more sleek and angular. Like
that's kind of
much
it. They kind of just sleeked him up a little bit. They didn't really,
which is so weird because if you're gonna change anything about Two-Face, it would be the face, right? Like it would be the face.
Definitely more angular. He's definitely more like pronounced, like exaggerated slightly. But but in terms of owning one versus the other, this one came out first. So I bought it. And then I'm like, when the other one came out, like the older version, I was like, whatever. I've already got this one. Perfectly fine representation of Two-Face.
I'm definitely getting the Rock vibe from that figure right now, though. Like the broader shoulders and the more olive complexion, like definitely the Rock there. Hey, for those of you who don't know, I'm wearing a Twotecast, The Wheel of Time cast t-shirt. Joe, in his other life, does a podcast / stream where he talks about a fantasy book written by I kept saying Hal Jordan.
Written by Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern.
Written by Robert Jordan and later Brandon Sanderson. They go ad nauseum. Actually, it's not ad nauseum. No, good detail of comparison into chapter by chapter. They have some of the actual editors and authors that work on and along with Robert Jordan, and they compare it to the show. It's much more vulgar and really funny compared to this show. So go check that out.
Very different.
Domo Ghoul. Whatever.
He's already doing it.
I love the I guess prestigious and intellectual challenge to Batman that Ra's al Ghul presents. And the voice actor is fantastic. But unfortunately, I can hear it crystal clear in my mind, like when he says detective. I love that he calls him detective. But whenever I try to imitate it, it comes out like a bad John Malkovich, like, so detective, you have found my secret cave. Ra's al Ghul with the Lazarus pits, and he goes mad. And like his episode was cool because it starts out with Robin being captured, and he goes on it was a two-parter, and like so good. And this
he comes with his demon mask head.
That's great.
Such good stuff, dude. They never made a second version.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Why you wouldn't need to?
The sword actually comes from Hardak, because Hardak took the sword that Batman was fighting Ra's al Ghul with.
That's awesome.
He never came with the sword, and I was like, all I want him to have is the sword.
But and you gotta buy a Hardak.
Years later, I was like, perfect. I'm stealing it from you.
Gotta go get that Hardak
sword.
So I was just gonna say the one.
All
right, so can you take the cape off easily though?
Yeah, I mean you can. You just pop the head off. Comes right.
All right. See, so that is the one problem. Is like, whereas the cape is a crutch in this point, in this instance, there, it's also a hindrance because he can't sit, he can't pose, he can't do anything. It's even over the shoulders too. Like it's almost a statue.
You'd have to. It's a solid plastic cone.
Yeah. Dang it. We're regulating him to a shelf figure. Let's pop his head off. It's such a tragedy.
Well, I mean, it is that at the same time.
Don't apologize for it.